We started this series last week with looking at one of the tools, and we want to look at a second tool this week, which is the integrated support star. But before we get into that actual tool, I want to again give Jenny an opportunity to just kind of give an overview, if she would, in regards to just the Charting the Life Course framework as a whole. So, Jenny, would you just kind of again give us an overview of the Life Course and again the structure and that framework?
Absolutely. So the Charting the Life Course framework was really created to support individuals and families of all ages and all abilities think about the kind of life that they want and the steps that they might need to take to get to that vision of a good life. So we think about lots of different aspects related to what does a good life look like to us? What are the different types of supports that it might take to get there? What information do we need? All kinds of concepts to help us really reach our vision for this core belief that all people and their families have the right to live, love, learn, work, play, and pursue their life aspirations in their community. And I think it's really important that we point out that this core belief is that all people and their families. It's not all people with disabilities. It's not just people with disabilities as a part of a family. It's really thinking about how are we creating a world, a system, organizations, policies, practices, procedures, all of those things that really help all people to reach their vision of what a good life looks like. So on a really quick, just kind of overview of the framework, some of our key principles, it really starts with a person. But we know that that person exists within the context of a family. We all come from somewhere. We all have a background and experiences that have impacted us for our lifetime. And so really understanding who that person is, as well as who that family is and how that all interacts together. We think about the good life for that family or quality of life for that individual and family, recognizing that there's lots of different interconnected life domains that make up the bits and parts and pieces of that good life. So it's not just health and it's not just safety and it's not just where I work, but it's also where do I live and who do I hang out with and how am I engaged in the community around me. We also think about that quality of life and recognize that in order to achieve that quality of life, we need different types of things. We need information and training. We need to connect with other people who've been there before. And sometimes we need tangible goods and services. And we think about those as kind of the three buckets of support. And we know that in order to fill those buckets, we can use an integrated array of supports and services, such as what we're good at, who we know, where we go in the community, what technology we have, to really create a colorful life, for lack of a better word, that we think is the picture of a good life. And we know that that is our vision. We're trying to head towards that picture. It's a quality of life for the entire family with integrated supports and services that will fill all of those different buckets of need. And so there's decision points that we have to make along the way, like we talked about last week, across that trajectory in each of the life stages in order to achieve that vision for a good life. And that is the framework in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's really exciting. I know that's certainly a part, if you go through the entire framework, which is a large part of what that ambassador training is that both Shay and I went through and several of our staff at Therapy, we went through. And if folks are out there that are joining us that haven't went through that, they certainly can reach out to the Life Course Nexus and they can share with you how that can be something you do even individually or organizationally. But again, for those just joining us, we had a little technical difficulties early. We've got Jenny Turner from Charting the Life Course Nexus and Shay Dotson from Therap, my colleague, that's looking at the Life Course Nexus. And this week, our topic that we're looking at, or this week's tool, is the Integrated Support Star. And the Integrated Support Star is something that we talked really briefly there in the overview. But now let's kind of dive down even further and look at kind of the actuality and nuts and bolts of that, of how that can benefit somebody who holistically is looking at something in their life that they want to either problem solve or figure out how they might be able to address. So Jenny, as we just begin to look at that, let's talk about that support star give us a sense of the why of that and just how valuable that is for someone.
Yeah, absolutely. People tease me because every time I talk about a principle, I'm like, this is my favorite principle. Um, this is one of my favorite principles. And I think the reason that it's so meaningful to me is that I see myself and my friends and my family members doing this type of thinking and problem solving in our day to day lives without ever meaning to. It's kind of an unconscious strategy that I think a lot of us use whenever we're trying to make a decision or we're trying to solve a problem. We're thinking about all of the different resources and supports that we have in order to get to where we want to go. But I think a lot of times in disability service systems, we get fixated on one type of support. And so the integrated support star really came from recognizing that we need all of the different types of supports and services in order to really have the best opportunity for a robust, good quality of life for a person and a family. And so we started to think about, what are the different types of resources that any individuals, again, back to our core belief that all people and their families have that right to live their good life. So what are the different types of supports and resources that everybody accesses? And as we worked with stakeholders to make those lists and kind of categorize those different things, it really shook out into these 5 areas. And I have to give credit to the National Community of Practice for supporting families who the states involved in that were really integral in helping us to shape this concept around the different types of supports. But where we've discovered, I guess, in the past several years that most of the supports that we access are going to fall within one of 5 categories. And so I'll run through those really quickly. First and foremost is our personal strengths and assets. So what do I bring to the table? What resources, skills, abilities, belongings, what things do I have that can help me to reach my goal? Then we think about relationships, families, friends, acquaintances, neighbors. Who are the people in my life that support me in different ways? Sometimes really intensively, sometimes less intensively. I've got a great neighbor who is a support in a lot of ways, but I don't want her up in my personal business all the time, right? So thinking about those different types of relationships. How do we use and leverage technology? I think this, particularly during this pandemic time, we've really seen how important that is. And so how are we using things like iPads and smartphones and Alexas as part of kind of that environmental technology and personal technology, but also thinking about what are the accessible and adaptive equipments that we might be able to access that will support us to reach our goal. We think about community-based supports, and those are places in the community or groups in the community that anybody can access. So businesses, faith communities, parks and rec, public transportation, things you don't have to qualify to receive. And then we also consider eligibility specific support. So these are the things like disability services, Social Security, some of those governmental supports that will help us to reach our goal. And I think it's really important to remember that we're not saying any one type of support is better or worse than any other. We're recognizing how they all come together and work together to really create a comprehensive support system that can be integrated throughout a person's life. So instead of having supports that intentionally or unintentionally isolate a person, it's instead really helping that person to continue in the context of their family and community with the supports that they need to live the life they want.
Yeah, and one of the things that you said there that really stood out to me, both now and when we went through the training, was just the holistic, and that's really the word that I use in regards to describing the star. It's a holistic approach to really looking at something and trying to find all of the different options that need to be taken into consideration. And one of the things that also struck me as I bring Shay into this is just the whole sense of, you're looking at this and you want a lot of potential stakeholders and those that support and family to weigh in and try to figure out what the solutions or things that need to be considered. And that's why I think for us at Therap, this was so significant for us to make available digitally or electronically, so that regardless of where you live, regardless of where you're at, everyone could participate at a level of sharing that in this transparency, so that really all of the different things could be considered. and taken into maybe be an option for the group to look at. And so, Shay, I'll turn it back over to you to begin to talk about, again, just the how and how this comes into play in regards to the solution that Therap provides in utilizing and working with the integrated STAR inside the Therap platform.
Sure. So again, we're so excited to be an innovative partner, technology partner with Charting the Life course. And so we are certainly committed to helping our families and individuals and everyone involved in that circle of support to be able to collaborate about what that good life is. So we have the Charting the Life course module within Thera. And last week we talked about the life trajectory, and this week we are focusing on the integrated support star. So I'm going to go in and just click on new to start a new one. And we're going to work on this again with Jenny. So I'm just going to filter and find her name there. Okay. And so we get in and we're going to put a date on this, right? Because we're talking about something specific that we want to focus on for this moment, that we're problem solving through, that we're collaborating about what we bring to the table and what can happen. So we're going to put today's date on there. And Jenny in particular, so, last week when we spoke about some things with the life trajectory, we talked about some various things about your life and being able to celebrate your birthday and doing things with your family members. And so let's dig in and focus in a little bit on what do we want to sort of think through what the integrated support would be from that conversation that we had last week.
Yeah. So, I think what I love about the STAR is that you can use it for a particular point in time, like you said. So let's just map out all the resources I have just in my life right now. But you can also recognize when you need to do some kind of real directed problem solving, like you're sharing. And last week, those of you that were with us may or may not have noticed my face of panic when I shared, when we were talking about the trajectory, my living situation. That is not something you typically share on social media. I'm not going to say it again. If you were there, great. If you weren't, go back and watch it. But I think today we can think about how to make sure Jenny stays safe in her. We'll just go with stays safe.
There you go. All right. So just in the way that you talked about, you think through the STAR. Let's think about a few points of what do you bring to the table that helps you to stay safe.
So I have pepper spray.
Nice.
Just being real.
That would be helpful.
I have pepper spray. I'm pretty physically fit. So if I needed to run or fight, I could hopefully do that. And I have a pretty good danger meter. I have a good sense of this is not a good situation. I'm going to get out of it. So I think. And this is where like you said, Jeff, other people might be great to have involved because they're like, no, Jenny, your danger meter is so broken.
Right. Great. All right. So those are the things that you bring to the table that will help you. Now let's think through maybe some of the relationships around you, those people who maybe you help you to stay safe in your environment, or people you could call on, or what would be those relationships that you can leverage and count on?
Yeah, so I was joking about my neighbor earlier, Miss Judy. She's got to go on here. She is the town news keeper. She will make sure that if anything is going on, everybody who needs to know about it knows about it. So my neighbor, Miss Judy, would be someone. I think my dad is a good person to add because he would drop everything to come to my rescue. But he's 3 hours away. So I'm also going to add, dang it, I'm so bad at this. I keep telling people things I shouldn't say on Facebook. But I'm going to say my friend Jordan, who is not 3 hours away and would also drop everything and be here to take care of me if I needed it.
Very good. All right. So sometimes in the supports that we have, and as you referenced earlier, this is sometimes where we can get stuck, especially if we're supporting people who are within a certain developmental disability system as a part of their supports. We can kind of get stuck here, but it is a part of the overall support. So what are those things that maybe you need to be eligible for that would contribute to your safety?
Yeah, that's a good question, Shay. I think that's something I would need to explore a little further because I can't think of anything off the top of my head right now.
Okay. So that's something that you could either leave blank or just make a note that you're going to explore that later and come back to it. And the beautiful thing about any of these forms in the integrated star is that you do have the ability at the bottom to hit save and leave it as a draft, because there may be some things you need to come back to and build on. This is not one of those things that you have to sit and do all in one setting in order to get it done, but it is something that you can use as a part of exploring and solving the problem. What about community-based? So what are those partners or agencies or people in your community that could help with that, or community resources that would help keep you safe?
Yeah, I was thinking about I could take a self-defense class. I think they offer one at my local Parks and Rec place. That was the biggest thing that came to mind. I also think we have a neighborhood watch.
That's important.
It's on
Jenny,
that.
Jenny, did you want to identify the local Parks and Rec just for folks to keep track of? Or?
No, I'm getting better. I'm falling for it, Jeff. I live in, no, just kidding.
All right, so let's also think about technology. I mean, we are in a world full of technology, right? So what are the components that you're connecting with that would help you? Just a couple.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of different apps on my phone that I can use. And so that stuff. And then there's the emergency. I know how to like hold down the button to send someone to my location with my watch. So those two came to mind. I know we're not doing one right now, but sometimes we have what we call split stars. And so, you know, we could also type in like now, future in the star. And so if we were doing that, one thing I would say in the future, I probably want to explore an alarm system. Or I guess we could also say in the future, a relationship, I need a dog or you know, something to alert me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All of those things are very important and help us to help Jenny to stay safe, can help us to stay safe. And so as you think through this, again, you have the ability to click save because maybe there's some things that you want to come back and explore. And even in clicking save, you can still print off a PDF to be able to see, all right, what did I work through? Because maybe this becomes your guide as you go into the community and try to sort of look at these different resources. Maybe this becomes your guide to sort of think through it a little bit more and a reminder of different things that you need to explore. So even in that draft mode, you still have the ability to look at what that has produced in those 5 different categories that Jenny referenced before. And as you need to add to it, you have the ability to add to it and approve it, or you could approve it and decide that you wanted to create a whole new one. It just all depends on how you want those things to come.
So one thing I think that's really cool too, Shay, and it, you know, as a former provider, someone who used to work for a provider organization, you know, I'm thinking about, we've got all these goals that we work with for people, you know, and a lot of them involve like that community integration and building relationships in the community and those types of things. And I think it's so cool that within the therapy system, you can do a star now and just kind of map out where you at. And then how cool would it be to come back in 6 months, you know, and map it in and just show the comparison of like, how have we grown and what have we tried and what are the different things that have, you know, how much more colorful is my life now than it was 6 months ago based on how my team has been supporting me.
Absolutely. And I do think it's important. I think you hit on something that's very important there is that any of the tools that you use, charting the life course, person-centered planning, whatever you use, should always be something that you're learning and growing from. And I love the ability to take these tools and edit them along the way. So that it doesn't just become another document that's filed away somewhere, but it's a living, breathing document that really helps in decisions and supports that are offered as you go along. because none of us stay the same from one moment to the next. And there is growth that happens. And it's important for us to learn from those experiences that we're having based on sort of these problem solving things that we're doing.
Mhm.
I'll just say too, I got a secondary. I mean, Jenny could find another friend closer to home, and that could impact that. The other thing that I really like about this too is that you have the ability to share this to family, to friends, to, you know, be, as long as you want to give them access to this particular tool that is available in Therap, they have the ability to look at that, to think about these things and see or come across other technologies that they're thinking, oh, well, this would be something that would really benefit Jenny, or this would be something that I've never seen before, but I could certainly see this being valuable for her situation. Again, being able to share that and having that transparency and everybody kind of working together, which is why you do fill out this, and it is holistic, is because there are others that are going to participate and, again, support you in reaching that good life that you're looking for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So again, we have that integrated star along with the other star tools that we have here for the life trajectory and vision tool. And so with that said, Jeff, I'm just going to kick it back to you and Jenny.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate you going through that with Jenny. And again, we went through last week the trajectories, and Shay went through those. And today, the focus has been the integrated star. We're going to be back on June 19th, and Shay and Jenny are going to look at a third tool that is the life domains and the prioritization and being able to look at those things. So you'll want to make sure and join us on June 19th as we go through this again on another Facebook Friday. Again, this is part of that LifeCourse tools that as a whole is an incredibly valuable tool as people are looking at just person-centered frameworks and thoughts and how do you go about actually putting this into practice. And there are lots of tools and things available. Jenny, I'll give you an opportunity to just talk about a brand new website that I think you may have knowledge of, as well as your upcoming showcase maybe you want to talk about as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are so excited. It's been about a year's worth of work, but at 2:00 today, so in T-minus 23 minutes, I know, it's so exciting. We have a really exciting announcement, a really exciting launch. Jump over to our Facebook page if y'all wouldn't mind when you leave here. LifeCourse Tools is our handle, and come hear our exciting announcement that we're making at 2 p.m. today that is about how much easier it's going to be for you to find, hopefully, the tools and the resources that you want to learn about the LifeCourse framework at our website. And then also, like Jeff said, we are so grateful to Therap for being our silver sponsor, a significant sponsor of our Charting the Life Course showcase. We were bummed not to be able to be with people in person in April this year, but we are taking the showcase online. So we will be sharing some more information about our 4th annual Charting the Life Course showcase live at 2 p.m. as well. So if you want some details about how you can exchange knowledge, build capacity, and engage collaboratively with us, we'd love to have you join us over on our Facebook page in just a few minutes for some more information.
Fantastic. Well, Jenny, your strategizer of solutions, we're so excited that you could join us this week. And Shay, it was good to have you as well. I want to just tell folks we had a number of folks last week reach out about just their interest in being able to utilize the LifeCourse Nexus tools inside of Therap, and everywhere from states to providers to individuals. Really, anyone who has a desire to find out more about this, certainly reach out to us. You can get to contact us either through your local Therap rep, or you can do that off the web at just therapservices.net. So please feel free. You can go there and be able to get a hold of us if you'd like to find out more about the application inside of Therap, as well as the lifecoursetools.com, which Jenny mentioned just a minute ago. We hope you've enjoyed being with us today. I also would ask you, if you did, please make sure and click on like and share this, as well as subscribe for upcoming opportunities to learn more about this, like the one that we're going to have June 19th, where we'll come back and talk about life domains. It should be something that I think you'll also benefit by and enjoy as well. So with that, I wish you all a good rest of your Friday. Thanks again for stopping by and spending some time with us. And if you get an opportunity, make sure and swing by later to LifeCourse Tools to see their announcement, what's going on with them. With that, thanks everybody. Have a great rest of your Friday. Take care.